Makuru village, nestled in the heart of East Africa, is a vibrant and unique community celebrated for its natural abundance and remarkable people. Its lush, green landscapes are dotted with towering, fat trees that provide shade and add to the picturesque environment. The earth beneath their feet is a striking red sand, contrasting beautifully with the greenery above. The village's architectural charm lies in its well-planned layout, with thatched roof homes spread out neatly across the land, giving a sense of harmony and order. Makuru's true distinction lies in its wildlife and people. The surrounding wilderness teems with a dazzling array of wild animals: deers, antelopes, mountain goats, wild pigs, bush rats, and more, making it a haven for hunters and nature lovers alike. Every 3 days, the village market square buzzes with life as skilled butchers and traders gather to sell their fresh game. The market itself is an organized marvel, with rows upon rows of stalls where villagers proudly display their produce and wares. Food is plentiful in Makuru, and this abundance has shaped its people into some of the tallest and most statuesque in the region. The shortest among them stands at 6 feet tall, while many surpass 7 feet, their towering figures complemented by their striking African features. The women, particularly, are awe-inspiring, with long, graceful necks and a statuesque elegance that leaves an indelible impression. Children bring laughter and vitality to the village, their energy weaving seamlessly into the daily rhythms of life. Makuru's atmosphere is one of warmth, prosperity, and a deep connection to both nature and community, making it a place of extraordinary beauty and vitality. Just beyond the bustling market square of Makuru village, along a narrow, hilly path, stood a striking figure, a towering man of 7 feet, his dark complexion gleaming in the sunlight. His clean-shaven face caught the light as he adjusted the rifle slung over his broad shoulder, a silent testament to his readiness for the hunting expedition ahead. Clad in an ensemble crafted from wild animal skins, his attire bespoke the strength and resourcefulness required for life in the untamed wilderness. Surrounding him were his peers, equally imposing in stature, dressed in vibrant African garments that reflected their cultural pride. Their voices resonated in a rhythmic chant, a soulful plea to the gods for bountiful game and safe returns. The air was filled with the rich sound of their singing, a spiritual hymn carried by the wind to the towering trees of the forest beyond. As part of their sacred ritual, the hunters poured a local brew onto the crimson sand, a libation offered to appease the gods and secure their favor. The forest they prepared to enter was no ordinary woodland. It was a realm of dense thickets, towering trees, and lurking dangers. It was a place where courage and skill would be tested against the unpredictable forces of nature. This journey was not one to be taken lightly. It could stretch on for days or even weeks, depending on the whims of the weather and the bounty of the wilderness. Back in the village, the women, tall and statuesque, bustled with purposeful energy. Wives lovingly prepared nourishing meals for their husbands, packing the food in sturdy containers for the long days ahead. Mothers, equally devoted, did the same for their sons, their hearts swelling with a mix of pride and concern. The aroma of freshly cooked dishes mingled with the earthy scent of the red sand, creating an atmosphere of unity and purpose. As the hunters set off, their figures silhouetted against the hilly path, the villagers stood in quiet reverence, watching their departure. The men moved forward with determination, their chants fading into the distance, leaving the village to await their triumphant return with the bounty of the forest. In the village of Makuru, the path to becoming a hunter was not merely a choice but a calling determined by the gods. It was a role of immense prestige, reserved for the strongest, most courageous young men. To identify these chosen few, a grand ritual unfolded, a ceremony steeped in tradition, reverence, and spiritual significance. The event began with the assembly of young men, often numbering up to 100, each eager to prove their worth. They adorned themselves in vibrant, traditional attire, symbolizing their readiness to embrace the challenge. The village gathered to witness the spectacle, filling the air with anticipation and excitement. Drummers positioned at the heart of the ritual set a steady, hypnotic rhythm, their beats echoing through the hills. The candidates engaged in a powerful cultural dance, moving in sync with the pulsating beats. The dance was not merely a test of physical stamina but also a spiritual offering, a way to connect with the divine. As the dance progressed, the intensity grew, and the participants entered a trance-like frenzy. It was in this heightened state of unity and energy that the gods were believed to make their decision. One by one, names were called out, the voices of the village elders cutting through the rhythmic chants and drumming. Each name spoken marked a life forever changed, as these men were declared the chosen ones. Their selection was seen as a direct decree from the gods, affirming their strength, courage, and worthiness. The remaining participants, though not chosen, were celebrated for their effort and resilience, returning to their lives with a deeper sense of community and purpose. For the 30 chosen men, this was the beginning of a new chapter. It was a moment of immense pride, as becoming a hunter was one of the highest honors in Makuru. Hunters were not only providers but also protectors, revered figures who embodied the spirit of the village. To commemorate this achievement, each new hunter was bestowed with a plot of fertile land, a symbol of their elevated status and a foundation for their future prosperity. The villagers celebrated late into the night, with feasting, music, and dance, honoring the chosen ones and the gods who had guided their selection. For those who became hunters, the journey ahead would be one of challenges and triumphs, but they would forever carry the respect and gratitude of their people. Haydat, a young African man in his 20s, stood tall and proud amidst the other chosen hunters of Makuru. At 7 feet, his clean-shaven face, strong square jaw, and smooth, flawless skin reflected both his youth and the promise of a remarkable future. His athletic figure spoke of years of training and discipline, a testament to his determination to follow in the footsteps of Makuru's most honored men. As his name was called during the sacred ritual, his parents, Shodi and Papau, felt an overwhelming surge of pride and gratitude. Shodi, a statuesque woman herself, stood with her hands clasped together, her radiant smile barely able to contain her joy. Papau, his father, stood a step ahead, his chest puffed out and his eyes brimming with emotion. For years, Papau had prayed to the gods and meticulously trained his son, teaching him the ways of hunting, survival, and respect for the divine forces that govern their world. To have Haydat chosen was the culmination of their hopes and dreams. Papau's heart swelled with pride, knowing that his son now carried the legacy of strength and honor that defined their family. Shodi, ever the proud mother, took her place among the women of the village, her graceful demeanor masking the torrent of joy she felt inside. She saw in Haydat not just a son, but a man who would bring honor to their family and protect their community. The announcement was followed by celebration. Villagers approached the family with congratulations and blessings, acknowledging the divine favor that had shone upon them. Shodi prepared a feast of the finest dishes, her hands working swiftly to ensure Haydat would have the strength and nourishment needed for the journey ahead. Papau, meanwhile, recounted stories of his own youthful hunting days, offering his son advice and encouragement as they shared a quiet moment before the festivities resumed. For Haydat, being chosen was not just an honor. It was the beginning of a life filled with responsibility, adventure, and the deep respect of his people. As he stood tall in the moonlight, surrounded by chants and the glow of ceremonial fires, he silently vowed to live up to the legacy of the hunters before him, making his family and his village proud. After 2 long weeks in the wilderness, Haydat and his fellow hunters returned to Makuru village, their arrival heralded by the distant sound of chanting and cheers. The men, weathered but triumphant, carried with them an impressive bounty of wild game: antelopes with sleek, muscular forms, agile gazelles, sturdy mountain goats, bush rats, and other creatures from the vast forest. Their hunting expedition had been a resounding success, a testament to their skill, courage, and the blessings of the gods. The whole village gathered at the edge of the settlement to welcome their heroes. Women sang joyous songs, and children ran ahead, their laughter filling the air. Drummers struck their instruments with vigor, their beats echoing through the lush greenery. The returning hunters walked tall, their pride visible in every step, as they carried their spoils on sturdy wooden poles and carts. For Haydat's family, this moment was one of pure elation. His mother, Shodi, rushed forward, her long, graceful neck adorned with traditional beads that shimmered in the sunlight. Tears of joy filled her eyes as she embraced her son. Papau, Haydat's father, stood proudly nearby, nodding in approval and admiration. His training, prayers, and faith in his son had borne fruit. The village square transformed into a vibrant scene of celebration. The hunter's bounty was displayed prominently, their catch divided and shared according to tradition. Families cooked and feasted together, the aroma of roasted meat blending with the earthy scent of red soil. Songs of praise and gratitude to the gods filled the air, their melodies carried by the evening breeze. Haydat and his fellow hunters were celebrated as heroes, their achievements etched into the memories of all present. The young hunter himself felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing he had honored his family, upheld the traditions of his ancestors, and contributed to the prosperity of his community. As the festivities continued late into the night, the villagers danced under the starry sky, their spirits united in joy and gratitude. For Haydat, this was not only a celebration of a successful hunt but a reaffirmation of his place within the proud legacy of Makuru's hunters. Haydat's encounter with the mysterious half-woman, half-antelope transformed his life in ways he could never have imagined. That morning had started like any other, as he set out to tend his crops, working tirelessly under the soft morning light. Yet, by the end of the day, he found himself at the heart of a story both mystical and extraordinary. As he cleared the land for the next harvest, the faint murmuring caught his attention, pulling him toward the sound. Carefully navigating through the trees, he stumbled upon a sight that left him awestruck. Before him, a large tree seemed to split open, revealing a stunningly beautiful woman emerging from within. Her tall frame, standing 6 feet tall, was adorned with intricate jewelry around her elegant neck, gleaming under the sunlight. But what truly stunned Haydat was her form. Her upper body was that of a human, graceful and enchanting, while her lower body bore the delicate features of an antelope. Hidden in the bushes, Haydat watched as the woman, in a surreal transformation, shed her antelope skin to become fully human. The discarded skin shimmered faintly, almost alive with its own energy, before she tucked it away inside the tree's hollow. With her transformation complete, she adjusted her garments and walked away down a narrow path leading toward the village. Compelled by curiosity and an overwhelming sense of destiny, Haydat retrieved the skin from the tree and concealed it, carrying it back with him to the village. As the day drew to a close and Haydat journeyed home, fate intervened again. On the path back, he crossed paths with the woman from the tree. Though neither acknowledged their earlier encounter, their conversation stretched on into the early hours of the morning. Her voice was captivating, her presence magnetic. As they neared the village, Haydat, now smitten, invited her to his home. The woman hesitated briefly but eventually agreed. Once inside his modest home, she revealed her secret. She was not entirely human, a creature born of both the mystical and natural worlds. She explained how her life revolved around her ability to transform between her two forms and that her antelope skin was essential for her to return to her original state. She was unaware that Haydat had found and hidden the skin she now sought desperately. As they spoke each day, Haydat's feelings for her deepened. Her kindness, intelligence, and otherworldly beauty captivated him. One evening, unable to contain his emotions, Haydat confessed that he had found her antelope skin but had hidden it. He admitted that he could not bear the thought of losing her and wished for her to stay with him as his wife. The woman, torn between anger and the affection that had grown between them during their time together, faced an impossible choice. Haydat's love for her was undeniable, but so was her longing for the freedom that came with her dual existence. For now, she stayed, her presence a delicate balance of love, secrecy, and the tension between two worlds, a tale that would ripple through the generations of Makuru village. Haratu, as she revealed her name to be, became an integral part of Haydat's life as weeks turned into months. The bond between them deepened, their connection flourishing in the secrecy of Haydat's modest home. She confided in him her fears and dreams, and he, in turn, assured her of his unwavering love. They both agreed that her true identity must remain a secret, especially from his parents, Shodi and Papau. When the time came, Haydat introduced Haratu to his parents. Standing tall and poised, Haratu charmed them with her grace and beauty. Haydat, careful not to betray their hidden truth, told a convincing story of how they met at the bustling market square. He explained that Haratu was an orphan with no family to speak of, a claim that evoked immediate sympathy from Shodi and Papau. His parents welcomed her warmly, grateful that their son had found someone so dignified and kind. The village soon buzzed with news of the union. Haydat's parents, proud and overjoyed, spared no expense in arranging a lavish wedding according to Makuru's cherished traditions. The ceremony was a grand affair, filled with the vibrant colors, rhythmic music, and joyous dances that defined the village's culture. Women dressed in intricate beads and brightly patterned fabrics, while men donned their finest traditional attire. The red earth of Makuru seemed to glow brighter that day, a backdrop to the love and unity celebrated by all. Haratu, dressed in the finest wedding attire, was a vision of elegance, her long neck adorned with ornate jewelry that gleamed in the sunlight. Haydat stood proudly beside her, his towering frame a symbol of strength and devotion. Together, they exchanged vows before the entire village, their hands joined in a bond that seemed unbreakable. As the night wore on, feasts were shared, music played, and the villagers danced beneath the stars. Shodi and Papau basked in the joy of seeing their son marry such a remarkable woman, unaware of the secret that lay just beneath the surface. For Haratu and Haydat, the wedding was more than just a celebration. It was a triumphant affirmation of their love, a love that had overcome the boundaries of two worlds. Their secret remained safely hidden, known only to the two of them, as they began their life together as husband and wife. For now, the mystery of Haratu's origin was buried beneath the layers of a happy union, their hearts beating as one in the vibrant heart of Makuru village. Years passed in Makuru, and while Haratu seemed to live the perfect life as Haydat's wife and the mother of their striking twin daughters, a deep restlessness grew within her. She longed for the life she had left behind, the freedom of the wilderness, the power and mystery of her dual existence, and the connection to her true nature. The twin girls she bore, identical in every way, were the pride of the village. Standing at 7 feet tall with regal postures, their fiery red hair like burning flames and piercing grey eyes set them apart as rare beauties. Their long necks were always adorned with exquisite beaded necklaces, gifts from their adoring parents. The villagers admired the twins endlessly, often whispering in awe of their otherworldly features. Haydat and Haratu doted on their daughters, who grew up loved and protected. But despite her love for her family, Haratu's heart ached for the life she once knew. Over time, her unhappiness became evident. She would wander the village aimlessly or sit under the shade of trees, staring into the distance. At night, she would secretly search their home, rummaging through every corner in a desperate bid to find the antelope skin Haydat had hidden so many years ago. She begged her husband to return it, pleading with him to understand her need to reclaim her true self. But Haydat, deeply in love with her, refused, fearing that if he returned his skin, he would lose her forever. Unaware of their mother's secret, the twins lived a happy, normal life in the village, oblivious to the turmoil brewing within their home. However, one fateful morning, everything changed. Haydat had left early to tend to his farm, and Haratu, unable to suppress her yearning any longer, rose shortly after him. She made her way to the storage hut behind their home, a place she had searched many times before but never thoroughly. Her hands worked quickly, tearing through sacks of crops and bundles of dried goods. Hours passed as the sun climbed higher in the sky, but Haratu's determination never wavered. Finally, beneath a heavy brown sack, her fingers brushed against something soft and familiar. Her heart raced as she pulled it free, and there it was, her antelope skin, shimmering faintly even in the dim light of the storage hut. Tears streamed down her face as she clutched it to her chest, overwhelmed by relief and joy. Ensuring no one was watching, Haratu packed the skin carefully and disappeared into the thick forest. Her heart pounded with anticipation as she ventured deeper into the wild, the sights and sounds of her old world calling to her. Once she felt safe, she draped the skin over herself, embracing its transformative magic. In moments, she shed her human form and leaped jubilantly into the wilderness as an antelope, her slender legs carrying her with newfound freedom. When Haydat returned that evening, the twins ran to greet him, but their mother was nowhere to be found. Despite a frantic search and the growing unease of the villagers, Haratu was never seen or heard from again. Some believed she had fallen victim to the dangers of the forest, while others whispered of a supernatural tale. For Haydat, the loss of Haratu was devastating. The antelope skin he had hidden with so much care had become the very thing that tore his family apart. Yet, as he watched his daughters grow, their fiery hair and piercing eyes a constant reminder of their mother, he cherished the time he had with her, holding her memory close to his heart. Haratu, meanwhile, found solace in the wilderness, returning to the life she was meant to live. Though she left behind the life of a human, her spirit lingered in the village of Makuru, in the love she gave and the legacy she left in her extraordinary daughters. The end. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, like, share and comment.